What's going on, Mail-In crew? We are back. I am back. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. We are the Mail-In Podcast. To my right, the lovely, one and only, Sally deFries. Good morning, Sally. How are you?
Good morning, Brett. I'm doing great.
Are you?
Spring break,
New phone case.
new phone case.
Here we go. Very nice. That color scheme is very in right now, I feel like the
Green and cream.
earth tones are
Yeah.
in. Like people are doing their kitchens now. It's like white kitchens are out. Now it's like pine forest or maroon or like navy blue are in, with every panel being the same. And
Mm-hmm.
if your fridge matches your cabinets, it's like ultimate flex. You notice that?
I have not noticed that,
Ooh, it's hot in the streets.
but I grew up in a household that noted the fridge was hidden in the cabinets.
Yeah. Like that's becoming the soup du jour.
But you know
In
the
custom
fridges
homes.
that like it's a fridge but it just has the wood paneling, but it's like
Yeah.
still a fridge. That
Mhm.
was not ours.
Right.
You've been to our house.
Yeah.
It's a wall of cabinets, and you have to
Mhm.
like guess which one is the refrigerator.
Which it's fun. It's like, oh,
And
it's
then,
like an
like, the
advent
freezer
calendar
drawers.
for leftovers.
Yeah.
The big thing in my house is when we built our house, it's like 2000, and then 2 years in, we went from like the fridge that was like Randy, this is very Midwest of us. The fridge went from like the 90s like cream plastic laminate to stainless steel.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
when you made the stainless steel switch,
Yeah.
that was big.
Did that one go in the garage or the basement? The old
Uh,
one.
The cream one goes in.
The cream one
goes into the
broke,
garage.
so it didn't go anywhere.
Oh,
But our garage, we had a garage fridge that was just separate and also cream. But you're right, the cream ones did go in the garage
That's what we did
more
with
often.
our old fridge.
Yeah.
Except for ours is like in a mudroom in our house still.
Interesting.
You have also seen that fridge, I think.
Yeah, I've grabbed some beers from your mudroom for sure. Yeah. Yes. Okay. That's also
Is that
a popular
like peak
place.
wealth? Is like having two refrigerators. It's like you have your refrigerator, and then you've got the garage drink fridge.
yeah. Ours was in the basement because we had a finished basement. We didn't have a garage one, but it's the same thing. the
That makes
basement.
sense. Yeah. As someone who's never had a basement, but I get that.
Oh God, you Texans are so interesting. with
we
that.
can't
I know.
because
It's
of
like
limestone.
below the limestone.
I would fuck with a basement. Like I would. That would be tight. We've talked about this before. I loved my grandparents' basement, and it was
Mhm.
unfinished, and I was like
Ooh.
so into it.
We had half and half. So half of our basement was unfinished, so it was basically storage.
Mm-hmm.
The other half was very finished. It was nice. It was like a kind of a TV workout room situation. But we also had a walkout basement because my house was on a big slope. So
Yeah.
half of my house was like 2 floors, and then it went down and was basically 3. And
Will's
I
parents'
mean,
house is like that.
yeah, and that's what we'd snuck out of my house. It was the easiest sneak out sleepover house of all time.
Texans could like do the same thing with attics and like finish an attic out, but then you've got to. I'm
Mhm.
assuming you probably don't have to really work at like climate regulating a basement because you don't have to like
Yeah,
get AC
nah.
for it. An
It's-
attic. You
it
have to
stays very
blast
cool.
AC in.
Yeah.
Because
oh, yeah.
of the heat rising and already
Mhm.
in Texas. So probably the energy cost of that would be not worth it.
Yeah, not worth like the one Super Bowl you watch up there.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we have beanbag chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finished basements were like, that was a sign of like, okay. And they really started only happening in like the early 2000s, I feel like. Like everybody else, basements went from the concrete floors with like big metal poles and a sump pump over here to like,
Mhm.
oh, now we need to finish these and put a ping pong table in.
Our cousins and like when they now live in Florida, but then when they lived in the suburbs of Chicago, had a finished basement, and it was awesome.
It was, if you're going to somebody's house, like for a sleepover or to watch a game or something like that, the basement was always the pride and joy
Yeah.
of that place. And also, it always seemed to have more like masculine influence in the basement. So there was like
That was the man cave.
that was the man cave, ping pong
Okay.
table, pool table, trophy case,
Yeah.
wet bar. That always seemed to be where like the toys went.
Okay.
Pop a shot, for example, air hockey table.
Pool
Did you have
table,
an air
ping pong
hockey table growing up?
I did. I had a smaller one. That was
Yeah.
not a big thing. Our basement, I put like a full hockey net in there,
Uh-huh.
and so that's where I would like shoot and practice and stuff. But we had like a gym equipment. We didn't have any like pool table toys. We didn't have any um ping pong table. Our buddies all did. So we spread the wealth pretty good.
I remember that we got an air hockey table for Christmas one year.
That's tight.
It was tight.
That is tight. Randy,
In
what
our
was
playroom.
what was your basement setup looking like?
We it's still the same. Well, actually, we don't have the ping pong table anymore. But it was ping pong table, pool table, big sectional couch, TV. Got the bar and the fridge.
The
I
big
feel like you could just open like a furniture store that's just like called like Basement Outfitters.
Pretty much, yeah.
It would have gigantic sectionals.
Just
like
gigantic
sectionals
leather sectionals.
with like 15 spots for
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sleepovers would happen and you would have like 4 people on the sectional just
Right.
oh man.
Bob Couchkey's #1
Yeah.
reupholstery salesman. That was my
That
bit
was
for my
that was
birthday.
right. That was Randy's bit first. Man, that's coming up.
Yeah. You have to figure out new characters. This time, Run Fair style.
Yeah, we're going to the Renaissance Festival for Randy's birthday.
Really?
hmm
I've always wanted to go to the Renaissance Festival.
Well, you're invited.
Well, yeah, you're invited, but I think you guys are out of town that weekend,
Ooh.
unfortunately. I think at least pretty sure April 13th.
Oh yeah.
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 Sad.
We're gonna be
Anyway,
in San Diego.
we are the Mail-In Podcast. We help you answer questions that you need. Internet therapy, if you will. Unlicensed. Let me make sure I say that. Subscribe on iTunes. Follow on Spotify. Hit the hotline number 888-362-MAIL. That is 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Or it's also in the description of this very episode and on YouTube. Check it out right here. I'm doing the YouTube thing. Make a note of that, Randy. Let's get right into it, Sal. You want to lead off or you want me to go?
I'll start.
How-
Hi, Brett and Sally, longtime listener. I have a career question. I recently interviewed for a job at a newer company that would be a pretty big advancement. I have received a final in-person interview, and based on current conversations, I think it could go really well. The issue is I just found out I am pregnant. The new position would be one of 6 people they currently have, and since they are a newer company, this role is pivotal in their growth. That is part of the reason I am attracted to this role so much. It is because the opportunity would be to help build a company from the start. My question is, do I tell them I am pregnant? If so, when? I'm worried telling them will hinder them from hiring me since this role needs to be hands-on and I'd be out for 2 to 3 months. But if I wait until after hopefully getting hired, I'm nervous they will think I was not honest up front. Let me know what you think.
Is there legal groundwork here? Like,
Yes.
is there?
That's what
Okay,
I thought too.
so
yeah.
that was my biggest question on this.
Legally, you are not allowed to how do I word this correctly? Like discriminate against somebody because they're pregnant or could become pregnant, they're of childbearing age, etc.
Oh, okay.
Like,
So I could be-
like you can't ask
Yeah.
if they're like about.
I know
You
you can't. They
cannot
can't
ask.
Yeah, for sure.
And the problem is that it's hard to prove, right? So
Yeah.
she's interviewing for a job. She says she's pregnant. They hire someone else, and they can say we hired somebody else based on merit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
it's really hard unless they have like evidence to say
Mhm.
like,
Here's,
know,
here's why we didn't hire you.
right. But
in
you
my
cannot
experience.
fire somebody because they're pregnant. You
Yep.
cannot, you can't pass them up for a promotion, things like that. You can't,
Mhm.
basically you cannot discriminate against a woman because she's pregnant, or same thing, like might be pregnant, was on maternity leave, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Okay.
Again, the burden of proof though falls on the person because it's really hard to prove that unless they literally told you to your face, like, we're not hiring you because you're pregnant, whatever.
Right.
Here's my opinion. I don't think you should say anything. And not because I think that they will discriminate against you. I think that getting a job based on your merit is, absolutely viable. And I don't think you'll mess that up. But
Mhm.
pregnant, she said she just found out.
Correct.
Which means she's probably in the early, like not even out of the first trimester.
I was just saying
yet.
she's got months before she would even tell like her
Right.
closest friend. Kind
Exactly.
Of thing.
So most people, everyone's different, but a lot of people start feeling comfortable telling their employers and stuff around 3 months, which is 12 weeks once the first trimester is done,
Mhm.
because that's when your risk of
Mm.
miscarrying and things like that goes way down.
Okay.
So in my opinion, if you haven't like told your friends and stuff like that yet, I don't think that it's necessary to tell a potential employer.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who went through something like this. It was not a full new job at a different company, but she got a promotion and then had to tell them like when she was 20 weeks, like, hey, I'm pregnant.
Right.
Um, I think you don't say anything. You see if you get the job. When you are getting closer to being out of the first trimester and you're like 3 or 4 months in
Mm-hmm.
to the pregnancy, a couple of months into the job, I would meet with your boss and say like, "Hey, I am pregnant. I found out like right before our interview, but I was very unsure about what you know, how the pregnancy was going to go.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
now that
That's
it's,
a totally.
now that I know for sure where we're at and that the baby's okay and all that,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell you, like, I'm really excited about this role, but I want to make some contingency plans
Sure.
for when I have to go on maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I want to say it's 2024. Hopefully, people are willing to work with you on this because I think we are, as a country, even though we're insanely behind on maternal rights and paid leave and maternal care and things like that, we are trying. And a lot of new
Yeah.
companies are making a point to be good about that. If
Sure.
that
And
makes sense.
and this is delicate too because it's
Mhm.
like I think of it as like a startup. If one of us was like, oh, I take a new role, and then you put resources to that person. Like this is just the devil's advocate side of it. I'd be like, well, shoot, okay, like I'm all for it. Do your thing, but it's tough, right? It's like,
I would not say anything. Wait to see if you get the job, and then when the pregnancy is further along, sit down with your boss and say that you're pregnant.
mhm,
First of all, it's literally none of their business about when you found out you were pregnant, if you're
totally,
pregnant,
yeah,
how far along you are,
mhm,
etc. Um, so I don't think that you need to feel bad about quote lying because you're not lying. They didn't. But first of all, they didn't ask you because they're not legally allowed to. But second
mhm.
of all, like, it, think about if you had some like health ailment and you're like, hey, I got to go get surgery
Oh, sure,
in
yeah,
9 months.
hmm
Most people aren't going to like tell people that up front in a,
yeah, yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
totally,
Um, it's a shitty situation for women because
yeah,
we have to deal with this and it is not the most cut and dry thing. But I also don't think that if you're at a company that is pissed about you being pregnant, then that's probably not somewhere you want
yeah,
to be.
right. That's what it comes down to. Is like everybody should be happy for you, excited for you. It's a startup, and it's
It's a
like,
startup but you're always going to have to make a contingency plan because
yeah,
there's never going to be quote a good time
yeah,
to be out on
totally,
maternity leave at a startup. So
right,
a year from now if you got pregnant and then had to go on maternity leave, that might be when you're like,
hmm
you know, pitching to a huge client or whatever, the case may be. So there's always going to be a bad time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's never a good time.
Um I would also, I think it's always important when you're in a role like this. Like when I'm on maternity leave, I do the same job as 100 other
Mhm.
people and they all just cover for me because I'm not like having any clients or anything that's like getting messed up. I'm not
Right.
having to pass off work to other people. Somebody just goes in and does anesthesia
Mhm.
and fills my role.
Yeah.
At a company like this, if you were pregnant and you had to go on maternity leave,
Right. It would be like,
then you are gonna have to like find someone to do your job
yeah.
or have other people within the company pick up the slack.
Mhm.
But that needs to be done anyway.
Whether it's today or 9 months from
Exactly.
now. Yeah,
And
I got you.
and that would have to be done if you had to leave
Car accident or some, yeah.
or if you're dealing with a sick parent or if you
Mhm.
well, I mean, every single person here of the, you know, Will and Dave have both left on paternity leave.
Mhm.
So you just when you're in a smaller company, it's a little less straightforward, but it's still
Yeah.
something that company is going to have to face at some point,
Mhm.
whether or not it's pregnancy related. So you might as well give them the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, that's fair. I think your point of being like, this could happen in 9 months anyway, or
Right.
like 13 months anyway. Like, yeah. And if a company can't survive 2 to 3 months without you and like your role, then that company is like, what? That's a scary proposition anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Let's talk Liquid IV though.
Okay.
Our friends over at Liquid IV are the best. Whether you hydrate to live or live to hydrate, Liquid IV
Philosophical.
quenches your thirst faster than water alone. They have 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness, all in a single sugar-free stick. Been on the lemon lime sugar-free lately?
Yeah.
Money.
I like the peach sugar free as well.
Also very good. Also very good. I do like you can do it with Liquid IV. I think our listeners know this. Morning, afternoon, evening. There's a solution for you. It's like
Mhm.
evening after a workout, Liquid IV to rehydrate. Morning after a long night, perhaps, rehydrate.
Feel a little sniffle coming on? Immune booster.
Immune booster. Afternoon when you're like feeling kind of a little afternoon grog. Matcha energy blend. They got
Yeah.
something for every part of the day. I don't know why I said that in Irish. Every part of the day. Liquid IV is the one
They
for
don't
you.
have a potato flavor,
They
unfortunately.
do not have
Irish
a potato
bread.
flavor. 1 stick plus 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone. How about that? No artificial sweeteners and 0 sugar. 8 vitamins and nutrients for everyday wellness. Non-GMO and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. Rip open the top, glass of water, pour it in and mix it up and down the hatch. Good to go. And it tastes good too. However you hydrate, grab your Liquid IV hydration multiplier, sugar-free, in bulk, nationwide at Costco, or get 20% off your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MAILIN at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MAILIN at liquidiv.com. I need to quick aside on Costco. I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan of Costco?
I'm not a fan.
Brett, that's a red flag.
So, and maybe not a fan is too much. We went to Costco when we were on a trip, like a week-long trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's not meant for that. Like, it's not meant for the grocery store run at the beginning of a buddy's trip. You're buying in bulk, like bulk.
Yeah.
It's for homes with multiple people and children, in my opinion.
Oh, I mean, Will and I can fuck up some Costco. I think it is a good like it depends on how many people you've got.
For sure.
I have gone to Costco for a 15-person bachelorette party and it was money.
That makes sense.
Because you're getting like mixers, stuff for breakfast, things like that.
Yeah.
For like 4 dudes, probably too much.
It's too much. You're better off. You're obviously going to pay more per unit, but like Wegmans is fine for that.
Mhm.
Costco, we walked in, we're like, we don't need that many of this. We don't need that many of that. We kind of walked out with some stuff. We're like, man, that didn't do what we needed to do.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate that they sell like TVs next to the lemons and limes. I think that's cool.
They're not though, because there's a whole fruit
room.
Yeah.
The fruit room.
The lemons aren't even in there, actually. It's just the berries and the lettuce. But Costco has some great items, and I don't even want to be there when you have an argument with Lily about this, because Lily is Costco's biggest fan.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I will put me up against Betcher. Let's go.
She will ruin your life.
I need to go again, I guess.
It's just for a household, Brett.
It's for a household, right?
They have new Reese's or Reese's, however you want to say it, items.
For Easter?
They don't know. They have a chocolate peanut butter covered frozen banana treats that you can get, and
delight,
and animal crackers too now. And the animal crackers are just like Girl Scout cookie tag-alongs. They're delicious.
Oh,
but I think you can only get them at Costco. Right?
Wow.
So
okay.
Yeah, Costco has some solid items. I don't think you have to have like a million family members. We get stuff for Fritz all the time. If you have a child who eats fruit at the level that Fritz does, Costco fruit's almost necessary. Except for the time that we bought him like 20 kiwis and then he just shit his brains for like 3 weeks straight.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm not a Costco guy.
Here's the thing.
And I just
Are you a Sam's guy?
No, I'm neither of them. I'm just a regular grocery guy. It's mainly because I don't like the membership thing. Like I can see myself becoming a dad that becomes a Costco guy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at this point, no. Like as a single guy, I don't need to become a Costco.
That's the thing.
I agree with that, but I think it's always nice when someone has a Costco membership. You can rent cars through Costco, and it is hella cheap. FYI.
I like the idea of it. It's just not practical for me now.
Right.
Or
right.
on a 4 to 5 day trip.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't need 17 pounds of bacon.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that. The way that you came out, you said you didn't like
I don't
Costco
need like
at first,
17 frozen
Right.
chicken breasts.
I do. I've heard their steaks are great and good prices on those.
You know what they have?
But again, I don't need
that's so
17
good?
pounds of meat.
They have a ravioli lasagna. So the lasagna noodles are raviolis. It is
Fuck.
a delight.
Ravioli. Give me the formula.
Yeah, he's gonna say that.
What?
That man, whoa! You just got my wheels spinning
Yeah,
here.
it's
I
so
need to
good.
bake. I want to bake something.
Yeah.
I'm due. We need like a Jung family summer party that we can all bring a dish.
We can
to.
do that. We did that. Was it during COVID or was it right before COVID? It was during COVID.
So Sally super spreader over there.
Was it? I don't remember what it was. We had people out to the house.
Your mom loves to host a good party.
We call it a G-Town get down.
A G-Town get down. That's
Mhm.
a Georgetown get down for the.
Okay,
for the
when
folks
was
out
that?
there.
Hold on. I'm looking. Where is it? I'm still looking. No, it was 2019. Yeah. We had a bunch of people out to the house. Had a little slumber party.
Oh, okay.
Cuz like that's the thing, my parents' house has like 5 bedrooms upstairs and
just
no one
places to like
is
crash.
sleeping in any of them.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
unfinished attic unfortunately.
that'll do it.
Huge bummer.
Gotta get a big TV up there and like a pool table. In there.
Yeah.
Pool table, beanbag chairs, some
Okay, should we
trophies.
stop getting derailed and like
No, I think that people like that. But we'll get back on the rails here. How do you balance having your own personal life with your husband having their own? This question's mostly for Sally, as I do not have a husband. I want to know logistics and details. We also have a toddler and jobs, and communicating about anything else is a struggle. I'm assuming they mean kind of like, how do you not just how do you get out of your household bubble? Is that kind of how you read this?
I think it's also how like this is something Will and I struggle with.
Okay.
Anyway, it kind of like I think when you get married and then especially when you add children into it, a lot of the things that it's hard to balance. Like you each have a job, you have the children, you
Mm-hmm.
want to go have dinner with your friends. He wants to go do golf with his
yeah.
friends. And you want to spend time together alone from your children. It's like puts a lot on your plate.
Yeah, there's only so many hours in a day.
Right. One thing that Will and I have done, first of all, there's a couple ground rules. Number one is that I don't do, that Will would love to come in here and comment on. I can hear him out there. And if he knew that we were talking about this, don't text him.
Okay, I'm not. Hands up.
Is keep a calendar, a joint calendar.
Shared calendar, yeah.
A shared calendar. The reason that I don't contribute to this is because in my mind, I don't even keep a calendar.
Okay.
I don't need to for work. Like I get why he does because everything's on his calendar, like every meeting, every ad thing he has to do, every podcast he does. So it makes sense for him to have a calendar. I have like my work calendar on my phone, like through my work app where I know, but pretty much my work schedule doesn't change, just like whether or not I have call.
Sure.
So like, but in my mind, I organize it. So I don't
have your week planned out in the old noggin of yours. So
Right.
You don't need a calendar.
I don't need a calendar. But for Will, it's really annoying because it's like, take tonight, for example. I am going to a girl's birthday dinner. And he is picking up his dad from the Von Lane. And so he's like, I didn't know about this dinner. I'm like, I've told you 5 times. But we're very different in the sense that like I keep it all up here and I
Yeah.
remember everything he says.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't remember anything I say. And he keeps it all
On paper.
on paper,
So he's like, why don't you
figuratively.
just put it on paper?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, because it's up here.
And like, I'm not really a Gmail person.
Okay.
So his like all of his stuff is through that.
The Google cow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
I need to be better about it though, because I think
Okay.
it would lead to less fights. Because I think he is always like, "You never said this." I'm like, "Yes, I
Mm.
did." So that's something that I need to work on. But when you have a joint calendar, you can both put your stuff on there. You know when the other person's going to be doing, like, say, golfing,
Mhm.
or in my case, like working on a Saturday. That is helpful. Number 2, I think big rule is you, especially once you have children, you cannot be resentful of the other person going out and doing something.
Mhm.
So Will and I have really tried to not be like a tit for tat situation. So when
The old marital abacus, if you will.
yeah,
Of
so like if
one
I
bead over here for one bead over like.
right, if I go and we don't do this in the moment, but then when we fight, we're like, "Well, you did this."
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm going to my friend's birthday dinner tonight. So then it's like Will's not like, "Okay, well, you went to a birthday dinner, so now I need to go to like a
Boys'
guy's
night.
dinner,
Yeah.
whatever." Or like, "Oh, you went on a 3-day bachelor party, so like I'm going to go take a girls trip now."
Mhm.
We don't operate like that, but I think it gives the other person incentive to do something.
Yeah. Sure. There is like I mean, there's always going to be sort of a brownie point
Right.
system.
But we try to not be resentful is what I'm saying. And then number
Right.
3, what I've realized the most is babysitters. So
Mm.
or the babysitting like needs we have. So number 1 is, and I have friends who do this. I am worse about it, probably because we have full-time childcare like during the day, is I have a lot of friends who have like a babysitter come every single Wednesday, no matter what.
Okay.
Unless
Standing
like their
stuff.
babysitter's out of town or they're out of town. But like they have a standing date night and they might not go on a date. They may do their own
Mhm.
things, but like a babysitter's coming on Wednesday night, no matter what, she's got the kids for 3 hours. They're going off and doing something, whether it's a date or they're each going to go do their own thing, or
Mhm.
one of them's just going to sleep and the other person's going to go do something. So that helps. But then also what I've started realizing is like, okay, next Friday, my friend and I are going to go to the Texas baseball game. And I'm like, why don't I get a babysitter for both of us? And I will go do this and you should go do something.
Okay.
And when we started doing that, it led to like us being able to have our own lives without being resentful of the other person, like
I
being
gotcha.
home.
Yeah.
I think the biggest misconception about having children, especially young children, is that like you are going to lose your social calendar.
Mhm.
I think Will and I have done a pretty good job, but it takes some adjusting. Every kid has taken an adjustment period of like, okay, the first time we had Fritz, I wasn't comfortable leaving him. I had a lot of anxiety. I needed people I trusted.
Mhm.
Second kid, it was like, do we trust someone to put both of them down? Do I need to do it? So it always takes time to get to a level where you're comfortable leaving the kids and you have to kind of figure out like now we know we like to do later dinners so I can kind of help get the kids to bed versus some of my friends are like the babysitter's coming at 5. I don't want to deal with that at all.
Yeah.
So you just find what works for you. You can still have a social calendar. It just takes more planning,
Gotcha.
less spontaneity.
Yeah. That makes sense. And that's kind
Unless
of.
you have someone like our nanny is great, and I'll be like text her that day and be like, "Hey, any chance you can like stay with the boys tonight?"
Mhm.
But it's less on a whim planning.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's just and that's life, right? As you get older, spontaneity goes down and
Mhm.
planning goes up. It's the axis of
And I
getting
right,
older.
for someone like me who's already like pretty type A, that's never really been an issue.
Yeah.
Of like I can have stuff planned. So like working in healthcare, like I literally have my
Mhm.
whole year of PTO planned out
Yeah.
for the most part. So like that's not really a big issue for me.
Mhm.
But if this person wants like specific logistics, that's how we do it. Is like
Yeah.
keep a calendar, communicate with your partner that you're doing something so that they are aware
and let each other do stuff.
and let each other do stuff
Yeah.
without being resentful of the other person. And then get childcare if you're going to be gone so that they can go off and do something too.
I like it. I like it. Let's do the next one, Sal. You want me to go or you got it?
I'll do it. Okay. Hey guys, first time, long time. Let me lay it down for you. I've been dating my girlfriend for almost a year, and we're celebrating her first birthday together in March. My birthday was in June, but I was out of the country, so there's no real precedent to lean back on. I didn't realize how much stress it would cause because I'm realizing she is a party person. I, like most guys, have kind of aged out of the birthday party thing as I'm 26. She's the same age, but she really wants to have an all-out celebration with our large group of friends. Her first idea was organizing a bus to take everyone to medieval times 2 hours away.
Who would do something like that?
Her next idea was getting everyone to do a day ski trip to our local mountain, Big Bear. Obviously, these all sound super fun, but neither of us are rich. And it turns out it's pretty hard to get 40 people to commit spending $200 for someone else's birthday. She's going to have some friends in town, so I'm definitely going to plan a nicer dinner with a smaller group of us. But I'm totally stuck on what else to do. It's extra tricky because her birthday weekend falls right before her friends who are planning to rent a boat and go out on the water. I have a big backyard, so I was thinking of just planning to host a nice day party barbecue with everyone, but that doesn't seem to be interesting to her without some larger theme activity. Any and all help is seriously appreciated. Okay, we're dealing with a birthday diva.
Birthday diva, party planner, party animal.
Okay, here's what I want to say.
And who would have birthday parties in their
Randy.
late 20s?
Hey, it's 30. I
did. I'm saying you and I are on the same page.
Okay, here's my question for both of you. You're going not to medieval times, but to like the medieval festival. Fair. Where is it at?
Renaissance Fair.
It's in McDade. It's like 15 minutes.
Okay.
away.
Did you plan that or is somebody planning it for you?
I'm planning it.
You're planning it.
That's because I don't have a significant other because I'm lonely.
Okay. When's the what did you do for your last birthday?
Ski shores and a boat.
Did you plan it? Or did Rachel?
Rachel in partnership on that.
Okay.
But
tandem planning.
But I did a lot of it.
And you invited people.
Correct.
You weren't like, she's gonna all of it's on her to invite everyone.
Right.
Okay. Here's what I want to say about birthday people. And unfortunately, like telling your girlfriend this is not probably gonna go over well, but if you are a big birthday person, you've got to realize that no one has as much stock in your birthday as you do.
Oh yeah. Big time.
Including your significant other.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares about your birthday like you do because it's yours. And everyone's selfish and they care about their own birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of like, if you have a significant other and a big birthday coming up, I'm talking 30, 40.
Yeah.
Like a milestone.
Milestones. 21.
21. You get, I understand your significant other planning something.
Sure.
Will threw me a surprise party for my 30th.
Mm-hmm.
If you are turning 26, I don't think you have the grounds to be a diva about your birthday. Kind of ever. I think as you get older, you start realizing like, okay, here's the deal. If I want to have a party, like I'm going to have to plan this shit by myself.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which
Totally agree.
I also enjoy it, like planning stuff. And you would do the same thing. If you were turning 30 or you're turning 27 next year, you would enjoy putting that together.
Right.
It's not gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a dinner and then maybe something themed, but that's you.
Right. So our group of girlfriends in Austin, there's like 7 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally, I'm going tonight, have a birthday dinner for somebody whenever it's their birthday around the time. Usually we have like once a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually all girls. We usually like a month before we're like, hey, it's Brooke's birthday. What do y'all want to do? What day works for y'all? Like birthday girl choose and we'll book a restaurant.
Perfect.
When I went out of my way last year to be like, I want spouses to come, I was like, I'll plan the dinner. I'll make a reservation because there's going to be way more of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you want 40 people to come and you're expecting them to pay their own way, that is asking a lot of people.
Totally. Yeah.
If it's something that everyone's like so down to do, that's great. But you have to also realize that people have their own shit going on in their lives, right? Like Randy, I think it's awesome that you're going to the Renaissance Fair. I would love to come with you. I think all your friends are going to like want to go, and the people who don't want to go, won't go.
I even
and you're
changed the weekend because my actual birthday weekend, like no one could go that weekend. I'm like, all right, we'll just go next weekend.
Right.
Like would want more people to come than like make them forced to come on my
But
date.
like, are you going to be upset if someone's like, "Yeah, I don't want to pay for that. I'm not
No.
going." Exactly. So you gotta let go of that.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number two, I think like probably the last situation we had like this was for my friend Steven's birthday, like probably 5 or so years ago, and we took a party bus to the Woodlands for the Jimmy Buffett concert.
Ooh, that's tight.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Very tight.
Actually, more than 5 years ago. Anyway, huge group of us, and his wife sent out it was for his 30th birthday. So
There you go.
I think you're allowed to do that on a big milestone birthday.
I think 30 is the cool
But
one.
you have to remember that when you're asking people to go do a day ski trip, do a giant party bus to a medieval times, do a really expensive dinner,
Mm-hmm.
you're asking people a lot. We went to dinner for Will's 35th birthday. Not 35th, 37th. I don't know how old he is. Like in January.
Uh-huh.
And we went to a nice steak restaurant. I invited like my siblings and their significant others and things like that. I paid for like part of it because I'm like, I'm not going to come make you pay for a giant steak dinner.
Yeah.
Or
Sure.
at least all of it.
Yeah.
So I think if you're going to do this is all caveat to her boyfriend who probably knows all this, but like you got to pay for some of it.
This is you're totally right. Last year we went on a boat. So part of my birthday was on the boat. Part of it was at ski shores afterwards. That was
Right.
the idea. I just paid for the boat.
Right.
Because I was like, if you're already investing time, energy to get out to Lake Austin, it's not easy to get to ski shores. It's going to be a long day. I just want people there. I picked up the tab on
Yeah.
that. It's like bring your own beer, bring your cooler kind of thing. And I think to make it easy, that's how you do it. If you want to like, hey, we're going to go to Big Bear. I have a party bus.
I'll pay
and
for the
and
bus.
I paid for the bus. Just if you can make it there and buy your ski ticket, fine. But you have to make it easier on people if you want to do these big things.
Right.
And organizing a bus and being like, all right, well now everybody chip in $50 and then we're going to go to medieval time. And that's going to make it harder and that's
Right.
making it more stressful. So,
And it doesn't sound like either of them are really in a position to pay for a bus to take people to medieval times or
right.
a mountain.
And so that's when maybe you go back to your backyard. But if you want to do a little bit more of a theme, I'm thinking you go to a big bar, see if you can reserve a section or something like that. They usually have a drink minimum that's like $500. You're going to hit that if there's a bunch of people there. Just make it easy on people while also making it feel a little more special. Like doing a backyard thing is also going to be expensive because you're going to do the tent, and the food, and whatever. So, I think you make it unique by just having it somewhere.
Yeah.
And inviting a bunch of people and saying there's no real like come and go policy. There's whatever. We're going to be here for this many hours at this time.
What I think the girlfriend's not realizing is that more people will appreciate something like that than they will having to like fork over money to go to the medieval times.
Yes.
Not saying that medieval times isn't fun, but like just being able to like show up at a bar or someone's backyard to like go have fun and like hang out is like mass appeal to most people.
Totally.
I think you could do a theme. I'm on the camp of like where you're at, like just go post up somewhere. Like I'm like thinking like in Austin, like a little Woodrow situation.
Oh, perfect.
And like have a corner and be like, we have a bar tab till this many.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how much, exactly what you said. That's how much money you're going to spend on a backyard party, $500.
Yep.
So might as well just like have a bar tab till it runs out.
And then people are on their own tab.
Right.
Boom.
When I read this question, I thought of a friend that did this for her birthday that I was like, that's super interesting, but kind of fun. They did a scavenger hunt around the city of Austin.
Okay.
But everything was for charity. So
cool. Okay.
They did like a volunteer scavenger hunt essentially.
Interesting.
So they like went and you got like points based on like what you did. It was almost like a bar crawl, but like for Austin
Mhm.
charities. And like they like you went and like donated something at like Goodwill, and then you went and like walked a dog at the like Humane Society, and then you went into this, which like their friends are very much like that. Like
Yeah.
not everyone's like that's not their cup of tea, but you could do something in the similar sense of like you could do like bar golf or like a bar
Yeah.
crawl,
Bar golf's a great time.
where you're organizing everybody, but you're not having to like pay for everyone's drinks.
Yeah.
Last time,
Yeah.
actually, when Will and I were in San Francisco, somebody was playing. There was a group of people. I mean, it was like straight up 40 people playing bar golf,
Oh
and
my
they all
God.
came in. We were at a
Good
tiki
Lord.
bar, and they like 40 people walked in, and like all of them were wearing, like really country club chic outfits, and
Mhm.
then got whatever drink it was that they were supposed to get, and then like all heard it out. And
Yeah.
like that's fun, especially like at 26. I feel like that's
Yeah.
something I'd be into.
You ever seen like the chicken? I think have you seen that one where someone like dresses up as a chicken and they're like, "Hey, there's like these 20 bars that the chicken is going to be in,
Yeah.
and
It's
you
like,
like have to go and try to find them, but like each one of those bars, if the chicken's not there, you have to have a drink. So like you have like all these different teams trying to find this one person that's at one of these like 20 bars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you
It's-
just like end all at the same bar.
yeah. I think
That's
it's
something
Fox
fun
Hunt or
that like
something
is
that.
memorable.
Yeah. Totally.
yeah,
And
it-
it's easy in in a big enough town where you can walk to 8 or 9 bars
Right.
all in one district.
Or
Yeah.
even 5.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
5.
as Brad and I say, we're big birthday guys. If there's a destination, it has to be a milestone. Like the only reason I want to do the Ren Fair is because it's my 30th.
Right.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
absolutely.
like the past couple of years, we've just done something at the bars, and like a dress up theme will make it more fun. I
Right.
agree. So just do that. Or backyard hibachi. That was so much fun.
Super fun.
Backyard hibachi is really fun. I mean, you can still have like a backyard freaking luau if you want. Like
Yeah.
that's probably going to
absolutely.
create more planning. I think it's easier to probably show up at a bar
Have a place.
having
Yeah.
a theme. What
And
was your
then-
theme last year?
So we just kind of do a thing where it's always silly formal is what I request, is that
Okay.
you go to like Goodwill and get the most ridiculous suit, most ridiculous dress, and then you just come with like a character and you guys just play that out. the
You
whole
have to
night. It's
have
pretty
a-
fun.
You have to have a backstory,
Like
Sally
a-
DeFries.
Like a murder mystery type situation.
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah.
It's just we're just doing bits the whole night. We got Trip Taylor.
Trip Taylor.
Trip
Your
Taylor.
consultant's consultant
Okay.
from West Texas.
Bob Kowski, #1 reupholstery salesman in the Chicagoland area.
That's the one. This year I was going to go Canadian this year. I was going to retire Trip Taylor for the year and do a Canadian, his Canadian cousin,
Oh yeah,
Gary McCord.
what does he do?
Oh, you know,
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
bit of this, bit of that. He's your guy's guy. Your guy who's got something to do, he's your guy's guy.
But yeah, you just need to talk her down. I think it's just
Yeah.
like you're turning 26. And to me, a birthday party is like the older you get, the less you get together with friends. So it's just an excuse to get together. Just make it as easy it is to get people together.
Pick a place. Lil Woodrow's is a great idea. I don't know where you are, but a place like Kirby Ice House, just a big
Big
open,
bar.
big bar,
Yeah.
and have a tab if you want, have a section if you want, have a birthday cake if you want. It's not their first rodeo hosting a birthday party. It's not their. It won't be their last.
To go on what Randy just said, it's like the older you get, it's like you're getting your friends together because maybe they haven't seen each other in like a month. Like
Yeah.
he just said, like they're gonna see all their friends again the next week on
Next
a boat.
weekend. Yeah.
So we don't have to like go super out of our way for this. I don't feel
that's
like.
true.
Wait till this girl gets married.
Yeah.
Speaking of, newly engaged and starting to dip the toes into wedding planning, what would you change or do differently about your weddings? Would you elope? Already starting to get the feeling that things will get overwhelming and eloping might be the answer. Thanks.
What would you change about your wedding?
I was gonna say weddings is this
Yeah.
doesn't apply to me, but
Trying to think about what I changed.
I
about
can
my
go down the
wedding,
rabbit
too.
hole of not thinking wedding planning is that stressful again.
Okay. If you're already into it and you're like, this is not for me, eloping may be your answer.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
realizing that early on before you pay deposits is pretty important.
Mhm.
There was a couple reasons that led me and Will to do the eloping. We technically didn't elope because people were there, but smaller,
Mhm.
more low key ceremony was number one. The cost was going to be very prohibitive for
Sure.
us. We wanted to do it in Harbor, and there was a lot of things about what we were trying to do that just weren't, that were going to be really difficult and
including like
expensive.
local politics, right?
Yeah, literally had to like show up to city council meetings. Um, so we realized that pretty early on. The other thing is that there was not a clear consensus between me and my parents of like who was paying for what.
Okay.
And um that led to some uncomfortable conversations.
So you like airing that out immediately would be something
Right.
you could change about that process,
Right.
right? Like,
I
hey,
think
let's
I should have known that going in.
okay.
My Lily had gotten married right before,
Mhm.
like a month before we decided to cancel. So Will and I had been engaged for, probably 8 months before we even started to try to plan our wedding because I was still in school. So when we started, it was in December of 2019, and my sister had just gotten married, and I had watched her and my mom like slowly lose their minds and
Right.
become a bridezilla. Lily hates that term, but it was a lot. They planned a wedding outside of the country, and it was just a strain.
Mhm.
And I knew that my mom and I were going to clash on a lot of that stuff, and to me, that became it. Preserving our relationship became more important than the wedding itself. Um, I think I always pictured like throwing a party for all my friends, being the center of attention, which I usually love,
Mhm.
and part of the reason we wanted to have it in Harbor Springs was to like showcase it to a lot of my Texas friends who'd never been.
Mhm.
Those things were all important to me, and I look back sometimes and I'm like, do I wish, like when I see like all these like awesome wedding photos, I'm like, do I wish that I had this big party sometimes? But then I even think about the stress that I felt on my own wedding day, and there were only like 40 something people there,
Mhm.
and I was so stressed and anxious. I can't even imagine the feeling that I would have if I had sunk more money into it and had 200 people there,
Yeah.
which is like how many people we were originally going to have.
Mhm.
So, really do some self-reflection and think about who you are as a person and like what you're like when you're center of attention, how well you do under pressure and stress, how much money you're willing to spend on something that you're is going to be for one night that you are only going to have photos of later on.
Mhm.
And I don't want to diminish other people's weddings. And when people would tell me that, I'm like, yeah, but it's like a party that I'm going to remember forever. And that is somewhat true, but the amount that I think about my wedding now, 4 years later, it's been 4 years,
Mhm.
is very little,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I love our wedding, but like, have I looked back at pictures? No. Like, it's probably pretty important for like the first 2 years of your marriage
Yeah, sure.
until you like have a child or you move or you buy a house or whatever other big event happens to you, and then it falls by the wayside, and like maybe you have some photos that are framed or like a wedding album, but it stops becoming your entire personality, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
um so for us, that is what made the most sense,
Mhm.
eloping wise. The other thing I would say, and I think we're kind of getting away from this now, but there was a big push in the 2010s, teens for all these like, unique
The
experiences.
uniqueness was the soup du jour, like the
Right.
Pinterest something you saw had to be a part of your wedding.
Right. And those are things created by the wedding industry to make you spend more money. Uh, like
The donut wall.
the donut wall, the
Is what
donut
we're all
wall,
thinking of.
the photo booth, the
Yeah.
whatever it is that like your wedding planner sells to you that's like, this is gonna be so unique. You know who remembers that? You know who doesn't? Every single other one of your guests.
That's the thing. It is
I guess if you were
uh
maybe the first person to do it back in 2010, people might remember it.
yeah.
But I always say this with regards to weddings, the things people legitimately remember are like, did you have a fun band or DJ?
Mhm.
Uh,
And how are your apps? Because
it's not even like
the dinner was fine.
the apps and the dinner, I think used to, in my thought process probably seemed more important. Now I'm like, I never remember an app or dinner ever.
Mm.
Unless it was like particularly horrendous. But
Ooh,
like
okay.
it's never gonna be horrible.
Hmm.
Unless you got food poisoning, like I'm not thinking about the food you served at your wedding ever.
Yeah, totally fair.
To me, the things to spend money on are like an open bar and
Hmm.
a fun music situation, whether it's a DJ or a band.
100%. I mean, I've come around on like big formality of the wedding. I used to be like, oh, I want a big this, and I still would love one.
Mhm.
But if it's in a tent with people wearing Tommy Bahama shirts and flip flops, and we eat chicken quesadillas all night, I'm gonna be just as happy as if it was black tie at the Ritz.
Right.
So like, it's to me, my wedding change has become more of a party than an event or
Right.
a ce soir, like a soiree, excuse me. I I think eloping is kind of part of that. Like, oh, we're gonna go get married here and then have a reception
I think
somewhere.
that's becoming more and more popular. So
Definitely.
that's what
As people reject the wedding planning boom that has happened,
right.
which I think is starting. People are just like, well, I'm not going to subscribe to that. We're going to do our own thing. It's sort of like for sale by owner wedding
Yeah.
style, and like a.
I think so. My sister just did that in
Mhm.
July, June and September. They got married in Tampa in June with our immediate family only.
Mhm.
And then they had a party in September.
Love it.
And the party was a lot of like my mom wanting to like have her friends and stuff.
Mhm.
And even though my sister was involved, it was kind of like, if you want to pay for it, you do what you want
Show up.
and I'll show up.
Yeah.
So this, like, if you're getting married, you know yourself and your family situation best. If I could do it again and we didn't have COVID, I would probably, like, I loved what we did. I wish
Yeah.
we had kind of more of a reception. We had like just a dinner. But like, if I could do it again, I probably would have loved to straight up elope, um, in probably a different country and like take a honeymoon at the same time.
Mhm. And then come back and do
Because
a honey.
literally all you have to do is like get a photographer.
Yeah.
And then if you need someone for your hair and makeup, but like most people at this point, you can probably do your own.
Yeah.
Go somewhere really baller. This is what I tell people all the time. Cause like this is what I loved about ours is when you go somewhere really baller, then you can use that as an excuse to go back for your anniversary all the time. So if you get married in Hawaii and like elope, then you're like, well, we got to go back to Hawaii for our anniversary. Maybe not every year, but like it makes it special.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Even if you've never been there, I think people were like, oh, why'd y'all choose Laguna Beach? And we'd like been there one time. And I was like, because it was beautiful and I wanted to be there in February. Easy. And then do the party. And there's less pressure on a party. There's less like, who cares what, again, basically a bar tab. Like you're having a party for people to come have cocktails and like fun music, but like you're not as like, you don't have to do a sit down dinner. You can maybe have some passed outs, but you don't have to like feed people.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to have the gimmicky stuff. You don't have to pass out dance floor, like, what am I trying to, like accessories? Like you don't need the sunglasses and the lightsabers and the whatever.
Randy does love those, but
lightsaber weddings,
like the little foam light sticks.
Oh yeah, those things are
like
dope.
the stunner shades, the like air guitar things.
You don't need that.
Those are all, and wedding planners will do it because we had clients who love this. Like no one remembers that shit.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. Photo booth just bring 17 disposable cameras.
Honestly, or do the Kim Kardashian photo booth thing where you take the black and white pictures and makes you look super hot. But like you don't need.
Yeah. You don't. The thing about weddings is you don't need is a great phrase.
Yeah.
You don't need. You don't need. You don't need. It's about getting your best friends and the people that have supported you in one room.
But
and you don't need the prime rib.
No one remembers the wedding
like,
ceremony besides you. So like, why not do it somewhere special with just you and your spouse and maybe your immediate family if you want, where you actually will remember the ceremony, and like not be so stressed about what's coming up at the rehearsal at the reception, or the fact that like your wedding planner told you that there weren't peonies and the flowers and It is a lot of stress. And I think a lot of people, even if they had the picture perfect wedding, from Instagram will come back and say, like, I absolutely lost my shit about this, this, and this the day of, and it like ruined it for me.
Yeah, or you're just thinking about everybody else and not thinking about yourself.
Right. Or you're being cornered by like your mom's like tennis partner
Yeah.
instead of talking to your own friends.
Right. That's the thing. Healthy balance of young and old people is very important.
Yeah.
I've found at weddings. Anyway, you want to do the last one, Sal?
Yeah. Oh no, it's your turn. My turn? Your turn.
I railroaded you on the last one, so.
Okay.
Number 6?
Yeah. What's the ideal double date setup activities?
Double dates. I don't think I've gone on a true double date unless I have, and we just call them like dinner or going to grab drinks.
A kickback.
A kickback, if you will. Yeah.
Okay. We kind of discussed this before the podcast started.
Yeah.
Are we saying this says ideal double date setup? So are we under the assumption that like there's one couple
Mm-hmm.
and then they're bringing like a friend each and they're introducing 2 people?
We thought that was an option, and we also thought of it the way I thought of it was like 2 couples getting drinks or dinner.
Right.
And then we also thought about the option that I said, which is 2 friends, 2 girls going on a date with 2 guy friends that
Unassociated.
are unassociated. They're like the guys are friends and the girls are friends, and then they're just meeting together.
And they met via Hinge or
Via
maybe
Hinge or out the bars or something like that. Yeah.
Or Sally's favorite app,
Grouper.
Grouper.
So there's different ways this double
Let's
date
bring
can
back
go.
Grouper.
Didn't that like work for you? Like, didn't you meet a bunch
No.
of friends?
Or
is that where a wedding guy on meth came from, or Molly?
No, that was a friend from college.
Okay.
No, I met a guy on Grouper. He will remain nameless, who might have fallen in love with me, and I treated him terribly.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And then he got married to a girl he met on Christian Mingle, I think 6 months later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They do it differently in that community.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Okay. Anyway, okay, I let's go ahead and say that this is not the double date in the sense of like we're a couple, you're a couple, we're gonna go have dinner and drinks together, because
Sure.
that's just going out.
That's going out, right?
Or
dinner and drinks.
having
Answer
a
over.
date night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideal setup: dinner, drinks on a Thursday night. Boom.
Are we talking? Let's assume that 2 of the people don't know each other. They're being set up.
Okay.
I think still, to me, probably starting with drinks is like a must.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to go out of your way to
Some
like to go play putt-putt.
social lubricant.
Yeah. Like meeting someone and being set up is stressful enough. You don't need to like add sports into the equation. You know what I'm saying?
No pickleball, you're saying?
Yeah. Like I would rather just go get drinks with somebody.
Yeah.
I also think I'm not the type of person, unless it's like a big group, that's going to want to be set up with somebody in front of other people. Does that make sense? Like
0%. I think getting set up or setting somebody up is like fun in theory, but in practice, and I know Randy agrees with me.
Yeah.
Whenever there's pressure to like you two kith, like Mike Tyson meme.
Yeah.
No, like absolutely not. Stop that. Stop doing that.
I think the movies made us think that this is like a normal behavior, but it's not. Because if like legitimately, if like Will and I were going to set up Randy and a girl I know from work, and then we were just going to like take them out to dinner and then stare at them and like try to see if they were hitting it off, like that.
Insane.
Or even at like a party, but like you talk to each one of them, like everyone knows that, oh, those are the single people. We should like make sure they talk. It's like, but that's like too forced.
But at least a party put them in the environment, invite, okay. And then just kind of let them let it if it naturally happens, great. If it doesn't,
that's
fine.
how it should go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Invite your single friend to the bar and be like, oh, well, like Charlene's going to be there too. She's also single. Like maybe you hit it off, or just at least know going in.
Do you want the heads up, or do you want someone to just show up with their single friend, Randy?
I'd rather someone just show up with their single friend, and then like if I think they're cute, I could just ask like, hey, like what's their deal? Are they single or not? Because then it's like, hey, she's single, you're single. Then it's like even
Mhm.
just like giving me the heads up, it's like, all right, now you're expecting me
Yeah,
to like
yeah,
hit
yeah.
on them, and like now I'm in this weird
Right.
position if I'm not attracted to them.
So you don't want to go on a double date with me and Will and my work friend to like pitch and putt?
No,
Okay.
I mean, send me a pic.
What's her at?
I just made that person
How
up.
did
I don't
people
know.
like before Instagram and social media and like you just have to trust your boy, being like, oh hey,
Yeah.
I got this friend, she's real cute,
Yeah.
and you're just kind of rolling the dice.
Personally, the way that I've been set up in the past is like I had a friend text me be like, "Hey, Chris's friend like is great. We thought like you would love to meet him. Do you mind if I give him your number?"
That's crazy to me.
That's
Insane.
Yeah, there's no such thing as like the blind date anymore.
Insane.
I've done a few of those.
But like, as you've never seen the person, like
They just get your number, like, hey, it's so and so. Like, you want to go to drinks?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
We went to a bar in Montrose. I can't remember what it was called.
That's a blind date.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Have you never been on a blind date?
No.
Like I'm
Neither
saying,
of you have ever been on a
I'm
blind
saying
date.
legitimately blind, where like you don't even know what the person looks like.
Oh no,
That's
I've
what I'm
like
saying.
seen like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Still no. Still,
but like
I've
a
never.
blind date, like in my sense is like I think you are at this day and age because of social media. I mean, this was probably back in like 2015, maybe even 14. Like you've seen a picture of them.
Well,
I mean,
less
like,
blind.
the internet exists.
Less blind, but still
Pretty
forced.
blind. You've never talked to them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like you know what they look like, but still forced.
Yeah.
Like that to me is
Like having literally calling me, asking me out. I saw a picture of you on the internet and
Crazy.
like that's it.
crazy.
But you're essentially doing that on like a dating app.
Yeah, but you're like
You have a little bit of like
you have some
rapport.
You have rapport. You talk, you chat, and then you consent. Like
Okay, but until
mutually
you
set up
meet
the
someone in
thing.
person, it's totally different. It's
true.
totally I
correct.
mean, Will and I literally talked on the phone / internet for 6 weeks and then we met in person and it's still
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's always gonna be weird the first time, especially meeting online. But like giving somebody the
I don't think
it's like Hinge without the ability to swipe.
I think blind dates in the truest sense of like what we're thinking of like late 90s, early 2000s does not exist anymore because of the internet.
Exactly. True.
Except for on Love is Blind.
Very true.
But you
Or Nice Level Shot.
no.
Level up.
Okay. What's your favorite date activity?
Margaritas.
I mean, yeah, like I'm boring. Like if I just want to like go have a drink and like
and like in a cool like not in my living room, but like in a cool spot. I don't know why I think margaritas like tequila bars are more fun. The environment's like upbeat versus like a dingy like pretentious cocktail lounge.
I'm just
With the
not.
whisper.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think in Austin, like just going to a patio and having a drink is like top, especially right now. But I'm not like an activity person. And I think if someone presented something to me like, we're all gonna go paddleboard, I'd be like,
Oh,
fuck off. I'm
No.
not doing that.
no,
No, won't do it.
not when you're like, all right, 2 and 2, paddleboard. You guys don't know each other, but you're about to.
Good luck.
Yeah, have fun.
Get in a canoe together.
I think the most important part of a double date is activities, but not like paddleboard. You have to go to a bar with activities because as a double date, you need to have the ability to.
So you're
separate.
you're talking like
Randy's talking Chuck E. Cheese.
Kind of. I mean, I went on a double
Discovery Zone.
date with my roommate, and like we went to Black Sheep Lodge that had a
Cornhole.
shuffleboard
Sure.
and pool. So like me and the girl that I was on the date with did pool, and like they did shuffleboard. So like we were able to separate. We were all still together, but like
Yeah.
having the one-on-one time is.
But you were
the most
also
important.
at a bar where you like don't have to partake.
Yes.
But you could play some
Yes,
cornhole if you wanted.
having it there and being able to like separate, or like even playing 4-person game like cornhole, and like I'm on one side with my date and they're on the other side.
Right.
Like we get to like talk and all this stuff. So
Okay, I think that's a happy medium for me because
yeah.
but we're not like going to some adventure park and
Yeah.
like
Why do I feel like bowling is a great double date spot?
I fucking hate bowling.
Bowling
So
is so
bad at
fun
it.
with 4 people, and like doesn't matter if you're good or not. It's still gonna be fun. You're gonna eat like French fries and drink a bunch of beers.
Yeah, I mean that could be a great one. Like I
What
Yo,
said,
about
you want to
the-
go bowling, Randy?
I recently went bowling, and
Really?
I actually I rolled a 199 like on my last game. I
Oh.
was so upset that I didn't get the 200, but yeah, it was
What
yeah,
about like
it's
Top Golf? Do people
something
still
like
play
that.
Top Golf?
Top
Yeah.
golf is a great double date spot. Can be annoying if she's never played golf or like,
I'm terrible at golf.
but like it's one thing to be bad. It's another thing if she's like pissed that and not having fun. She's like, I fucking hate golf. Why are we here?
Yeah.
And then the food is
You
like
gotta know
$20
the
for
people.
chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can be very
You got to
fun.
know your audience.
Yeah.
But just sitting around a table and drinking the whole time, I think is not the way to do it because you don't get
Okay.
the ability to like have the one-on-one conversations because it's a
So
whole
you
group
need
dynamic.
you
and
need
not
a
dates.
bar that has
You need to start with the group dynamic, and then you need to be able to split off, but like
Okay.
still stay together.
What about like a Austin FC game? 4 people. You kind of have like a fifth wheel, which is like the event, entertainment wise.
okay.
And you don't necessarily need to be like engaged in conversation constantly. You always have something feeding conversation.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
And then
that.
you can like parlay that into drinks before or after. Like there's kind of have options there. I don't hate a sporting event.
Okay. Like a baseball game.
Yeah, baseball game would be great. UT
Okay.
game. Randy, what are you doing next week when Sally's doing her game? She's gonna bring a friend.
My work friend.
Yeah.
She's married, has
Oh,
children, but like
okay.
y'all can come.
Oh, I'm gonna be the little the mistress, the mister.
The Mr. S. Double dates, man. Haven't been on a double date. I mean, I guess I have. It's just getting drinks
Yeah, with friends.
with friends. Anyway, that's going to do it for the mail-in this week. Please subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the show. Hit the hotline, 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio at Mail-In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
Sally deFries on Instagram and Twitter.
I am Brett Merriman, at Schmerriman, on both of those platforms. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.